In the next example, we're going to look at a couple of very important functions and commands. There is a function called VLOOKUP, and there is another function called SUMPRODUCT. And these two functions are extremely important. We'll be using it very often in the rest of the course. And then there is a command which is two-dimensional data table. We already looked at one-dimensional data table in the previous problem. Here we will look at two-dimensional data tables. Okay. This example is about a bookstore that sells novels and hardback books and all kinds of other books. Now they have a new title coming up, and they are interested, and the bookstore wants to set up a model and analyze how many books they should order from the publisher. So this is the hardcover novel. The demand for these kinds of novels will range anywhere from 500 to 4,500, and that's what the bookstore is estimated. And they also have probabilities associated with these demands. Now the question is how many hardcover books they should order and stock. Because if they order too much, then they have to sell those unsold books at a discount and they lose money. And if they order too little, then there are two problems. One, of course, you lose the opportunity to make profit, but also the publisher gives quantity discounts. So by ordering too little, then you're not availing of the discounts. So the quantity discounts are given right here, and the demand estimate is right here. Now the cost, the selling price is $30 a copy for the hard copy. And once the paperback comes out, when the demand for hard copy will go down, then they'll have to sell it at $10 a piece. So this is the setup, and we want to set the model up and do some what if analysis, that kind of stuff. So let's go to the Excel file. The information that we went over are given here: the regular selling price, the leftover price of the book, and here is the unit cost from the publisher. So if you order, the numbers that you see here are the lower limits. So if you order anywhere between 0 and $9.99, your cost will be $24 a copy. If you order 1,000 and up, all the way up to 1,999, then that will be the unit cost, and so on. So this is the cost structure or cost matrix. Now we want order quantity. Of course, order quantity is something we have to decide, so that is a decision variable. Now demand, we don't know what the demand is going to be. Demand can be anywhere between 500 to 4,500. For the purpose of setting the model up, let's just use a trial value of 2,000 copies. Okay, and then we have to set up the model here, and let's give some names. Now, units sold at regular price. So that will be the smaller of these two, order quantity and demand. You can set this up as an if function or a min function. So we can do a min between order quantity and demand. Whichever is smaller will be what we will be able to sell at regular price. If you want to do this as an if function, then you would do if demand is greater than the order quantity, then you can only sell the order quantity. Otherwise, Okay, if the demand is smaller than order quantity, then demand will be what you will sell. So this is the through if function. So we can check this out. Suppose if you order only 1,000, demand is 2,000, you will sell only 1,000. If the demand is 3,000, if order quantity is 3,000, then you can only sell the demand. Now units sold at leftover price then is here order quantity, that's what you will have in stock, okay, minus sales. Okay, not minus demand, minus sales, how much you will actually sell. Okay, so that difference will give you the units sold left over. Now revenue comes from two places. One is units sold at regular price times regular price plus units sold at leftover price times the leftover price. So this will give us the revenue. Now cost, let's first set up a cell for cost per unit. Call it unit cost. We'll also give it a name. Now here we're going to use the order quantity and figure out what the unit cost is going to be. So we need to set up a VLOOKUP formula for this, and this is the lookup table. So let's give a name to this lookup table, and here since it is not, the name is not given as a label, you have to use define name and say cost lookup table. So now this is a VLOOKUP because the table is in vertical shape, and here there are three things that we have to provide. So first is the lookup value. Lookup value is the order quantity, so that is the value that you're going to use, and the lookup table is that's your cost lookup table. And the third thing is in which column you have the cost. So in the table, this is the first column, this is second column. Second column has the unit cost. So this will give us the cost per unit. So if it is 3,000 order quantity, 21.75. So let's check one more number. Say if you order 1,500, it should be $23. So you have the VLOOKUP set up correctly. So the cost now is how many units you're going to order times cost per unit. So now we have the revenue, we have the cost. So revenue minus cost will give you the profit. So that is our output cell, and these three are dollars, so we'll convert those to dollar and we'll remove the decimal places. So this is the model. Now we're going to use this model in what if analysis. That will be in the next video, but before we close, let's have a list of range names. And remember, we went over this earlier. To get a list of range names, use in formula, then select paste names, and then finally if you click paste list, that will paste a list of range names.